But the other thing that happened at the weekend was Super Rugby.
Super Rugby is back.
Round 1.
I lament that I didn't get to see enough of it, but because I was all last week on the show, I was all everybody watch it, and I didn't get to watch enough of it. It's just one of those things. But it was sort of a mad weekend with everything that was going on, and that sort of slipped through the cracks. I did get a chance to see in full the Blues Crusaders game in Auckland,
which was an absolute cracker of a game.
Corker of a game. Yes. Oh my god. It was brilliant. It was brilliant to see the Blues with a bit of teeth. I'm really excited to see them get Perifetta back at 10 if they can do at any point in the season.
Yeah, their halfbacks are the big weak link in that whole team.
Ottery Black is a guy who's just like, he can kick a ball. He has good skills, but he doesn't take it to the line enough, and he doesn't play as other players into the
game.
Even
though he can kick as well, I don't see enough Rog style plays where he dictates where the team play either.
Yeah,
it's
the skill is there, but he's just not putting it together, and he's been sort of turfed from franchise to franchise to franchise at the moment.
That happens a lot over there.
He's now in the Blues, and it's just it's still not happening for him.
Who was that scrummy for them? He annoyed me a few times during the game.
I don't know who was playing scrum half. Who was playing scrum half for them?
But
I'll get to you now. It was Jonathan Ruru at scrum half, but it was Pulu who came off the bench. Who was a guy who obviously cost them the game with a horrendous brain fart.
But he had been playing very well.
He's a great player.
Improved things enormously for them since coming on. But like the Blues and their uncanny ability to lose games, coupled with the Crusaders and their uncanny ability to win them. Because the Crusaders, it wasn't a good performance from their perspective. They stifled a bit. They invited some pressure from the Blues, and the Blues looked willing to execute for the most part. They had good, competent players throughout that team who were going to take charge. Great to see
Manonu back.
Great to see he's lost that extra Toulon weight he was carrying.
He was playing well. I mean, there was a couple of loose passes. I mean, it's like
in the first half especially, there were one or two.
But that's some August behaviour.
Some ring rust anyway.
Remember that it's August over there, essentially.
Early season stuff, and that's going to be excused. It's just unfortunate they couldn't get the win out of this one because you're never going to get a better opportunity to beat the Crusaders. That being said,
that's it. There's a lot to like in what the Blues have this year. You know, Kiri Iwani at 8 is like he was last year as well.
Oh my god, the way he wins contact against him, it's scary stuff. Something out. Talking Billy Vunipola, that guy, he's comparable.
He's certainly got a similar look going forward. You know, on bad days he can be poor, but on good days, and that's the thing. If you can get a functioning side around him, and he's just a weapon within it,
so he doesn't have to nitty gritty do any work kind of thing.
Exactly.
He can hang back and smash and crash.
And that would be key. But there's a lot of healthy balance to this. You know, that's the thing is you'd want to see Pulu in there at scrum half, and if you could get that Pulu Perifetta axis with a bit of Nonu and Sonny Bill Williams in the centre, you know, then you got a real team. Rico Ioane on the wing. Obviously, poor Michael Collins. I wouldn't lose faith in Michael Collins.
I like Michael Collins, and actually, even before we started with the game, I was just going like, "Oh, Michael Collins, there's a boy who never gets the credit, but he's always rock solid." And sure enough, he was anything but for the duration of that game. I've seen him play all the time. He's normally very much the glue in the back line who's quietly doing his job well, but this time he was loudly doing it badly. every time the ball came near him, the play broke down and made bad reads on D.
Just one of those days. Just one of those days.
But hopefully his confidence isn't too shook from it, and that they get him back in there and he plays well next week.
He's been a rock in that team for so long that there's a lot of credit in the bank there.
For sure.
I don't think that's one of these.
No, it did seem rather anomalous, but it's one of those ones that Pulu's the one you remember for losing the game, but Collins will be thinking to himself, as like there were a fair few moments in that game that I had to maybe change it or maybe do something, and I really didn't. Did the opposite.
When their attack was stalling in that set, and then he got the ball and he dropped it, and it was like just compounding things. But that said, always with the caveat that it's August time. But as you say, they're a team that could use the W, and in Eden Park. Great crowd in Eden Park. There's definitely confidence back in that franchise. I do expect some big things.
Really good signings. Like it's actually, they put together a good team this time. How will it fail this time?
Well,
I wonder. And Blues fans everywhere can tell us your thoughts.
The Chiefs are light in terms of personnel this year. The Canes
and they lost.
Yeah, they remain like the Canes' fortunes may lean on how often Bowden Barrett plays. I suspect. And there's the Crusaders are the Crusaders, and while a loss to them is not the same as a loss to anybody else.
It's true.
There are things to be found out in the weeks to come, but certainly last year, their away record in Australia and South Africa, for when you compare them to what the other New Zealand franchises are doing, it just was not something that was acceptable.
It's not kosher considering the caliber of play in those conferences that year.
They're in the very unfair situation of playing almost a completely different division to some of the teams that they're going to
be. The fixture list for the Blues compared to that of the Lions is kind of a laughable state of affairs for the tournament.
The way that they get in it is by beating the guys from their own conference, unless they're a wild card team with loads of points. But then the fixture list, as you say, is a killer.
Kind of precludes that when
so
the Lions are playing home and away against the Jaguares or something, and he's just like, what's this all about? No, I know it is unfair. It's slightly skewed against them.
But they just that's the pool there. Those are the waters they're swimming in. So the thing is to be better than those teams.
Yeah, and what that has the net result of is just driving excellence in New Zealand again, which is a prevailing force in Super Rugby. And so these derby games are always good to look at. Similar to this game as well. The other derby game they had was Chiefs Highlanders, which was also an excellent game.
I did not get to see.
I got to see most of it.
Who was at the
zipping through it?
Who was at the 10 for the Highlanders? Who did they go for?
Because
I know they have Bryn Gatland in there.
No, Gatland.
Should I look it up?
I'll look it up there.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember the name of the Chiefs guy either. The long-haired dude who I didn't recognize before.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Some interesting plays in it. Oh no, sorry, it was
Chiefs Highlanders.
Who was it? Oh no, I can't remember.
Marty Banks is back there as well. That's the thing. They have a decision to make at 10. They have Bryn Gatland, they have Marty Banks, and they have somebody else. I can't remember who.
It wasn't Marty.
Stephen Donald is there for the Chiefs.
I know. Yeah, I'm waiting to see him come back and play.
It was Josh Ioane, or is he the scrummy?
No.
Yeah, Josh Ioane and Orban Leaguer. I don't actually know these boys.
Orban Leaguer, that's who I was thinking of, and the Chiefs.
And Bryn Gatland on the bench. And Stephen Donald on the bench.
And to be honest, the Chiefs had the run of it for the most part, and then kind of let it slip. Was what I was looking at as well. They really didn't. There's a brittleness to what the Chiefs are up to in the last couple of years. That's not really reassuring.
They still haven't recovered from having all their literally all the parts of their coaching ticket have gone off elsewhere,
and
then Cruden and Lowe and even Liam Messam and Michael Leach, and just so many of them are gone.
So it's
Donny Bird.
It's true.
It's just
but they still have Brody, even though Japanese people are looking to pay him millions to come and play in Japan.
I'm sure they would.
He's a giant man.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that's so interesting over there. He is such a marauding monster. I'm sure he'd be great. That's a post-World Cup thing that probably will happen.
True. Yeah. But one thing that did happen in that game was Anton Linnert-Brown shone from 12, really dazzling class hands, and set up a lot of good tries for them. But just the frailty at the end, the Highlanders got the Chiefs got a red card, the Highlanders got a red card against them. But then from then on, proceeded to control the rest of possession and territory in the game and get the win.
Always had a wee bit of a knack. Was Aaron Smith on the pitch at that point?
Yes, he was. He
came off
the bench, scored the winning try.
That's Aaron Smith.
Yes, indeed. Aaron getting underneath the cover around the ruck.
Even when Lima Sopawonga was at his best for them, there was a lot of leaning on Aaron Smith.
This is where the Wasps' investment in Lima Sopawonga, it's we're buying it All Black.
It would have been genius to get Lima Sopawonga and Aaron Smith, or just get Aaron Smith. No, but he's remains actually
phenomenal.
Very, very good.
Yeah, no, the standard of play in those two games was excellent, and then the other, just to wrap up the Kiwis, was the away from home. The Hurricanes got the win, a 1-point win against the Waratahs.
Who, by all accounts, kicked really well.
Yeah, played really well as well, seemingly, but missed the crucial last kick when the pressure came on.
That's not very Iceman.
He wilted in what was, let it be said, a lovely stadium. Don't know what the name of the stadium, but the Waratahs playing in a smaller stadium. Would love to see that filtered throughout Super Rugby.
And a cracking crowd, yeah.
It's just much better. South Africans need to get on this. If there are small grounds anywhere, even if they're out of the city, move them there. play in
no
places
there's
where
no small grounds in Cape Town or in Durban.
Surely not. Surely not.
Pretoria.
It's like,
are you kidding me? Like,
don't play those games in stadia where there's like 60 plus thousand capacity, and you're only expecting a sub 10,000 capacity. If that's what or attendance, if that's what the attendance is going to be, put it in a 10,000 seater. Put it in a 20,000 seater, even when it's half full. It will be better atmosphere wise, and that's what the Waratahs were showing in that one. You don't have to be playing in these mad cavernous stadiums to fill it.
A little gutted for them not getting the W.
They should have got the W.
Is that Australian record of not beating New Zealand teams still going?
I don't know.
They certainly don't do it often.
They don't. No, maybe they got a few W's against the Blues last year.
Maybe, but,
yeah. No, it's not good if you can't win that game, because the Hurricanes were stuttering, just not looking all that flowy at all. And to be honest, like, the Waratahs had the winning of that game before they let it slip, and then they were let back in to the extent that they could have nicked it again, and they just couldn't take it.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be too harsh on Foley, but
I'm not.
He does have a certain Quaid breathing down his neck,
which was another class game actually, in terms of crazy basketball that happens in the Aussie conferences.
Yeah,
we had oh god, yeah, stylistic matchup I suppose it is, where it's like the Brumbies maul tries against the Reds, crazy
the Rebels.
The Rebels even. Yeah, I'm just thinking Reds because
it's Kenny and Quaid.
Really getting the band back together and throwing some crazy passes. And a lovely crossfield try, kick pass out to Maddox on the wing, who looks a bit of a baller this season.
Maddox was brilliant.
He actually looks like he's packed on a bit of weight this year, and he's strong.
Yeah, he like always that. It was the shining light, perhaps, in last year's Anna Cerebrus for Australia.
Indeed,
he's
manages to show signs of actual growth in between, as well as like talent. Australia,
genuine find, and Jack Maddox, and needs to be there. I
was also glad to see the Rebels get that win, purely because the Brumbies do annoy me so, because they're very hard to look at. They play an attritional game, but like
very loosely,
because as soon as they come up against any pack worth their salt, they're matched and very often beaten.
Was Pocock playing in that one?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Okay,
he was actually quite quiet by his own standards, but he was playing. Had a decent impact, but there were a few absolutely horror plays as well like that. For I think the first half there were 3 tries apiece.
Yes,
one of them was a Brumbies. I can't remember the name of the guy. He was the inside centre. I don't know who it was, but kicked a horrendous little grubber straight into the onrushing path of a very grateful Rebel who trotted in, and you're just going, what is that play? Only in the Aussie conference does that play exist in the world of rugby, because no one's doing that other than that. And silly.
That's just like a little bit of coaching, and a little bit like you just gotta rate, like, especially from talented guys, like, because Quade Cooper had 1 or 2 of them back in him. You just gotta rein it in.
Yeah,
I did see a little montage of Quaid's performance, and then I saw the highlights of the game as well, and it's encouraging. I'm super happy for him, and I always was a bit of a skeptic, because I thought like he could be basically he was basically the embodiment, the human embodiment of my fears of what Joey Carberry could be if he's not managed right, because he's just very, very talented and explosive, but also just loose. Crazy loose. But I thought so I was always a bit skeptical and on the fence about him, but the way that he was treated last year by Brad Thorne, and
what was put in its place was so negative.
It's like that's the key.
So you're going to get rid of all this razzle dazzle and replace it with nothing, and we're still going to lose games, but in a slightly less colourful manner. But that's no fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring Quaid back.
Yeah, and he's been if he's talented enough that if he gets something going and he gets his worser instincts get reined in, he could be a useful option for Australia going forward. They haven't got that many of them, and I'm just rooting for him, because I thought it was unfair for a guy that talented to be contracted to the Reds, have them not let him go, and have them force him to play at a lower level. And to his eternal credit, that he just did it. He just played at the lower level. Had his year. Carmichael Hunt did something similar, and then at the end of the year got released and signed up to another franchise.
It also seems baffling to me, and I suspect it's going to come full circle. I think he will be on the plane to the World Cup, because in amidst all this injury crisis and Australian rugby doing mad things, like you're half dropping Foley, or you're just switching him to 12, and Kirtley's played 10 this week, and maybe this week we'll do Tamua, and it's like, come on, Quaid's a better option than that. Yes. If you're going to start Foley, change it up with a bit of Quaid. Halfway through a game, it's a better option from all concerned. Just keep him fit and in form,
and kind of coach the nonsense out of him.
He reminds me now of Danny Cipriani. He's in that level of he's in that place in his career where yes, he was that kid, and he still has the razzle dazzle, but he's seen enough, and it's gone wrong enough that I think he's trying to just be a bit more professional with this iteration of he wants to make this Rebels thing work. And get himself into contention for the World Cup. It's a season for him to do it.
On side, 100%, and I think it could be very exciting.
Similarly, I wouldn't be surprised if Cipriani's on the plane to the World Cup.
Well, that should be happening tomorrow.
It should be happening tomorrow anyway. It should be yesterday, but I similarly Quaid is a good. It would be a good addition to an already kind of stretched thin squad. He needs to be in there really.
100%.
So, made no sense. But then I suppose wrap up other results that happened.
Well, the South African conference had its moments as well.
The Sunwolves will get rid of.
I gotta say, it was always a bit of a mad franchise because it's like half in Singapore, half in Japan.
Yeah.
But they had their game in Singapore, and it was a very sad little picture because it was just an empty stadium. Like none of the Singapore public are on board,
or probably even know that
it's going on, and it was just the very occasional loud on the speakers Sunwolf noise going echoing through an empty stadium as the sort of play goes on.
And the other thing is like there's barely even a Japanese or Singapore player on the
roster.
It's all just like rejects from various
from the Aussie conference and beyond, and it's just. Yeah, it's just very it hasn't worked. It's a nice idea, but it hasn't worked, and there's nothing real or grassroots about it. No. So it's just not drawing any fans because, like, that's the thing.
Well, the only thing that excited me about it was the idea of having some of that Japan team playing Super Rugby, and that doesn't seem to be what's happening.
Yeah, and that's the point is that the Japanese public who are on board with rugby, but they have their own league. And at the end of the day, this franchise just doesn't represent them. It spends half its time in Singapore and doesn't have any Japanese players.
So what is the point?
Yeah, so they're
really
just
at the expense of the Western Force. Damn it, the Western. We're still on board with bring back the Western Force.
Of course, always and forever. But to the eternal credit, the greatest thing to come out of Aussie rugby is that I can't even remember what it's called. That Australian league that has the Western Force and some other teams, and Fiji and Drua who won it last year with a bunch of class Fijians, an actual island team. This is the greatest thing to come. Like for that to have come out of the mess and the Western Force not to die, and for it to beat the Aussie conference in loads of attendance numbers last year is just awesome. That's the money in rugby. That's the in terms of just a rich guy deciding to do something with his money. Couldn't have done a better job. A+. That was awesome. So the Western Force live on, and it's probably a handy little thing for Aussie rugby in general to have that going.
True.
But Fiji and Giroud did win it though.
Well, they did get gutted of all their players for the sake of their Super Rugby, didn't they? All those Western Force players that they all moved to the Rebels elsewhere. No, indeed. So it was, but they still had their fans. Their fans are so supportive of them now. They're victims. They probably have the most identifiable culture of any of the Australian teams. That's what we were citing as the most unjust factor in all of this. Is like they made more so than the Waratahs, more so than the Reds and the Brumbies, and certainly the Rebels. It's like this is a team with a bit of passion, a bit of fire, a bit of a style of play that's all their own. They're
I remember that team. They had like C.S. Ederson at 10 and Albie Mathewson at 9.
Who was at 7 who was there for ages who retired?
Matt Hodge. I think it might just be Hodges. Raging. I can't remember that.
Yeah, you really enjoyed him as well.
He was brilliant. He was a very similar player to what I was going to do to the game, and he was just an absolute legend.
Yeah,
and
properly. Yeah, and the Honey Badger for the season.
We're totally pivoting out of where we should be, but the main point in that is that the Sunwolves aren't going to contribute much this year. But that said, the Sharks looked okay. It's good to see. I'm back in action.
Similar to our Ireland Italy thing, though. There's very little we've learned about the Sharks, other than that they can run in some tries against the Sunwolves.
And I've got to say, for once this year, and this has been said many a year in South African rugby and been made pie in face basically since 2007, But I actually think that the Bulls could do something this year.
Look good this year.
The Bulls look good. Yeah.
The Bulls look good. They did look very good.
Their team sheet.
Very good. Against the Stormers side that had a team sheet that looked good too.
Yeah, but they're like from player
40
to
points
player.
to 3.
40 points to 3.
Boom. And
moving the ball.
Beautiful tries.
Moving the ball always.
Oh, Speckman. Into the mix, straight into Springbok recognition.
Yeah.
Few kinks to be ironed out.
Jeepers, what do they do on the wings? I mean, what decisions? Gianchi and Creel and now Speckman coming in. Like, it's just,
but he was absolute fire. Some of the finishes he pulled out, pure sevens, like just gas.
Yeah. And while there is a little less of that space at test level, he straight comes into the mix.
He's not physically lacking. Like, even though he's a short guy, like he took some hits and shots in that game. Like, he's not. You wouldn't fear for him in that way, the same way you would of someone like Carl Niles for the USA. You'd feel that he's so pure sprinter that if you put him on a 15s pitch and suddenly he doesn't have space, he'd get broke up and hurt.
100%. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but didn't he sign for Glasgow for a while? Was that him?
Was it Carl Niles?
I could have sworn.
Yeah, I think he did actually. Yeah, he did.
And exactly that happened. For like a couple of weeks, and then he was gone.
Yeah, that's dead right. Because I remember a few little promo bits of him running up and down Scotstoun pitch very quickly. But no, with Speckman, he's robust in the contact, so you don't fear for him as much, and he's still got that turn of heel that he's going to be gone.
Totally.
And it was Dylan Lades, like no slouch, but he was being made a mug of because it's just a different kind of gas. And he's gone. And totally. It's like lovely to see that.
Jesse Creel for me is aging a bit like a fine wine.
Yeah, he's linking very well. His passing game's come on. He linked up very well for that chip and chase as well. That was a lovely little Springbok move. Pollard to Creel.
One of the looks that you really want to see in a top player, a player who's going to be starting for one of the top teams, is to see evidence of them actively working on their game. And I think you see a lot of that with Jesse Creel. Every year he gets better at the thing he wasn't that great at last year. You know, there's evidence that guy really does work at what he's doing, and maybe he's not the guy who was most naturally skilled maybe in any area. He was sort of a jack of all trades and probably still is to some degree, but you can see that he works really hard at what he's doing, and he's thinking constantly about what he wants to do. And the Bulls as a whole were just always trying to find space with the ball.
And they were keeping it alive in some loosey-goosey kind of ways, but they were
shocking the Stormers, you know, as a team that used to always see contact. But now you have a team that's well coached and doing things like that.
With some gas on the wing.
You find out, you know, you take a look at them and it's like, oh, they've got Dwayne Vermeulen, you know, oh, they got Andre Pollard, you know, it's Lou Diager, it's Jesse Creel, they're all in kinds of good players, and I'm super excited. I really hope they keep it up.
They need to back it up with some big away wins.
Well, I was more thinking getting a Kiwi team down to Loftus and see how they go against them.
That's true too. That'll be a cracking game when that comes about. But in the meantime, a great way to kick off their season. 40 points to 3 against the Stormers.
Conversely, the Stormers, get a shock to the system.
Jolt them into action, hopefully.
Old school South African Super Rugby preparation, perhaps getting the punishment that it duly deserves. And maybe be a season of it.
Could do. The other things that happened, the Lions played out a very tired and predictable 25-16.
My man here was really pulling for the Jags to get it done.
I wanted to see the Jags get it done, but it didn't happen.
And he's resentful.
Because they were better than them for large periods, but just could not do it. And I never even believed, even in the periods that they were being better than the Lions, it was like the Lions are still going to win this game. Or the Jags are going to lose it. Probably a bit of both. And that's exactly what happened. And the Lions were patting themselves on the back, but they weren't as emphatic as they probably ought to have been.
I don't think they were patting themselves. They were just relieved to get that fixture out of the way and get back to South Africa.
And that's exactly what happened with it. And it's hard to get a read on where they're at. As we do preface it, it is first round, so there's ample allowances for rustiness. But that being said, things like the 3 points registered by the Stormers, that's got to be an alarm bell. even in week one with those excuses. Shipping 40, only scoring 3, not a good start. Similarly, Jags at home, come on.
That's
try and get the win.
Curtains for Jags playoff.
I'd be more forgiving of the Blues for like a 2
forgiving? Are you kidding? I'm impressed.
Loss. I am genuinely impressed with the performance. Like a 2 point loss, albeit a home loss at home.
Without the guy who played at 10 in all of their preseason games, and Stephen Parafetta, who when he gets back, this team
game changer. For sure. The Taz, that is disappointing. They played well, but they should have won. And they won't,
listen,
you know.
more will be revealed about whether that becomes a pattern or not, or whether they can put it to bed.
True.
And kick on.
Still some positives. Izzy Dag, great pickup, looking great in the wide channels.
Izzy Folau. Izzy Dag. There's a blast from the pass.
Yeah.
He's probably playing in Japan now. That's why I haven't heard anything from him in a while.
Yeah.
That's usually what the crack is.
Sometimes, yeah. He's not that. Yeah, he probably is still playing somewhere.
Yeah.
But Izzy Folau, getting a lovely little pickup, roaming in the wide channels like the Tals are still dangerous.
Yeah, he's always going to be good for causing someone some serious strife. When Folau is on it, it's a game
very
changer.
A lot of people can do about it. Very often,
even the All Blacks get shocked when Folau comes to town in the mood.
Yeah, he's so an athlete.
Totally.
But yeah. And for all that, the Reds are the only team we didn't see in action. They had a bye week.
Heroes. Maybe they'll just be this physical monster, or maybe they'll just be what they were last year, which was disappointing.
A bit of a non-entity. But all that remains to be seen.
Like we were talking about in advance of Super Rugby. One of the things that you could look at from it was sort of, who is going to emerge as the new guys who are going to cast themselves in the international fold, who we maybe wouldn't have thought so. And it's early days, very much so, but early indications, I would say, from this week. You want to be taking a look obviously at Roscoe Speckman, who we've talked about for the Bulls, super player. Braden Enner for the Crusaders at 13 was brilliant.
Excellent.
Super smart operator, put himself in the right parts of the field all the time, shut down the Blues on a couple of occasions defensively, but more so in offense, was running perfect lines and then linking up after them.
Good hands free,
probably a little floaty with his passes off his left hand, but
there was one, but even that one was the right pass.
There were two,
okay,
but it was like that's nitpicking. The boy was very, very good, and like right now the All Blacks at centre, it's something they need to figure out.
True.
There's definitely scope for it.
Yeah,
if Manonu and Sonny Bill don't quite click, and then all of a sudden you're thinking certainly Anton Brown
put his hand up this week.
But obviously a long way to go. But options, and if that boy keeps playing like that, he'll be in the mix.
True
100%. Yeah. I wanted to talk. I just wanted to mention as well Akira Ioane, who we talked about
briefly.
And Tom Robinson for the Blues at 6. The blonde guy was actually really, really. He
very
showed a lot
game.
of industry and a lot of hustle, and I liked what he brought. And that back row, another area where the All Blacks have problems to fix.
Yeah. So it's like, who's going to be the World Cup bolter to emerge from the pack of Super Rugby players 2019?
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know yet, but there were some early signs. Thank you very much for watching that video. If it's your first time here, please leave a like and subscribe down below. And leave a comment as well if you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed the conversation.